on the cards for you.
Okay, so this is what somebody just sent me from Clinkerdagger. I just asked, and somebody sent me. He was like, "What's your favorite Clinkerdagger stuff?" He said prime rib. I said prime rib, and medium rare is. I was like, "No, medium." So they didn't have prime rib, but they had top sirloin. They ran out of prime rib at Clinkerdagger, but this dude just hooked me up, and I mean, atheists, look, I get it. I'm an atheist too. But this guy said he was doing this to be Christ like, so he's a Christian. Listen, if you want to be a Christian and Christ like and got a lot of money and you're hooking up a poor guy for nothing, no clout or anything, this is how you do it. His name's Moon Ranger. It's 3 O's. He doesn't really say, he said that a shout out isn't really all that necessary, but I'm going to give him one anyway because you should go to his Instagram and check out his fabulous art. He's a great artist and drawer. I don't know what this guy does for a living, but he said he made pretty decent money. I mean, that's clearly like ginger on that teriyaki bite. That's a top sirloin steak cooked to a medium from Clinkerdagger and some bread. The original was like prime rib for like $87, but they ran out of prime rib. So he hooked me up with the top sirloin. Listen, if you want to be Christ-like and hook me up with some food, this is how you do it. Why are Gen Z dudes in Spokane such greedy little bitches? Oh, you know all these hot chicks, but you don't want to hook me up. Okay, I don't have a good personality. I'm not likable. Yeah, okay, then why are you guys trying to hang out with me and try to talk to me then, you motherfucking bitches? Hook it up with a chick. Quit being a bunch of little bitches, aight? Otherwise, don't fucking talk to me. Okay? Don't try to get me on your fucking podcast. Don't try to like hang out with me in Spokane and try to smoke weed or whatever. I don't owe you anything. Hook me up with a chick. Quit being a bunch of greedy little bitches and expect me to be your fucking sounding board and sandwich buyer and Mexican food buyer and weed buyer for free. Quit being a bunch of greedy little bitches, Spokane Gen Z dudes. Aight? Otherwise, why the fuck would I want to hang out with your bitch asses? Hook it up. One thing I've realized is I'm really good at, telling people to go fuck themselves. So if you really want to personalize fuck you from me to somebody, hook me up with a $30 meal or something like that. I mean, I could just like stash it for a while I'm at Motel 6. But if you like 30 or more dollar meal, if you really want me to go tell some bitch or some asshole to go fuck themselves, hook it up with a meal and I'll do it. No sweat. Fuck those bitches and assholes. You hear me? I'm serious, you guys. If you got like a personal grudge against somebody and you got to tell them to go fuck themselves, I can even anonymously saying, hey, this is from some anon. I'm the Wern, and this is a message that they paid for me to go tell you to fuck your livery little ass up the creek stream where the shitholes and the poop circles. Whatever you want me to say, or we can just plan it out together and you could just do whatever. Somebody's out there calling you a creep or an incel and you just want to call them a fucking bitch and slap the hoe. Well, you could just contact me, the Wern, and I'll just get all Slytherin on it. You know what I'm saying? We'll just bungee down into their soul and just rip it out on fire and just be like, bitch, don't even, motherfucker. Hey, hook me up with a meal, $30 meal. I'll do it. I'll be your first guy to, jump off that trampoline of descent into their fucking heart and just rip it out. No sweat. I mean, we could do the opposite too. I could be Mr. Nice Guy. You got like this little love letter for your honey, and you're like an admirer, or your mom is having a hard day. She broke her hip or something. Contact me, the Wern, on Instagram, and I'll send like a little love message to mommy or your fling or whatever. You know, you got like a good employee, you want to like suck them off a little bit and tell them how wonderful they are. You and I can kind of collab and you can use my voice and I'll make a little video of like little niceties for your whatever skis. You know, I could be the insult comic or I could be the nice guy Eddie on this. You know, you just hook me up with Emilio, like some good, not Emilio. I don't know anybody named Emilio. What the fuck am I talking about? But like a little meal, you know, like a $30 or more meal. Forget about it. I'm here for you. I'll write you a little kingly little love letter, or we can collab and collide. Or, you know, you could go tell somebody to shit their dog, or whatever the hell your little insult is that you want to tell somebody off about. Or you want to twinkle some toes, you know, you want to just like get a little chicky Twitter pated. We'll work together on this, bitches, hoes, assholes, or nice guys and like friendly people, whatever you want. Any kind of message that you want me to send to somebody, as long as it's not like some kind of like racist thing. I mean, I'll drop the N word, but I won't say, you know, fuck the blacks or fuck the gays or something like that. That's the kind of thing I don't like. Like, fuck these women. You know, I get that they could be some classist hoes. I get that too. So, I mean, if you want to go tell a bunch of women to go fuck themselves too, whatever. But, like, I won't do anything like, you know, 1488 for the white pride movement because we hate the homosexuals of Spokane. I won't do something like that. But like if you have an insult that you want to give to somebody, or you want to like make somebody all little butterfly in the fucking tush tush, you let me know and we'll collab on a message of hope or fear or whatever you want to fuck do. You know what I'm say? You know what I'm say? As you guys know, I also like to stay at the Motel 6 a lot to chill. I'm homeless and kind of live on the streets and in shelters because I'm looking for housing right now. And with COVID 19, it's hard to find housing. Um, if I go around the SNAP office, I might be able to get it at like 8:30 in the morning, but it's ridiculous. If you got like some sort of like voiceover work that you think is worth maybe $100, well, a room at the Motel 6 is less than $100 a night. So, I mean, if you hook me up with a room for the night, I'm gone on Monday. It's Saturday right now in Spokane, Washington. But if you had like some sort of like voiceover work that you wanted me to do that would be worth like $100 that I could just knock out today or like in an hour or something, and you wanted to like use your credit card to give me another room, or you wanted to get me a meal, or you wanted to get me an Uber to downtown on Monday because I don't have access to the bus because I've literally got $0 and it costs $2 to travel. If you want to do that for free, that's fine. I'm good with that. But if you have like a love letter you want me to dictate, or like a short story or something, or like an insult you want to send to somebody, but you don't want them to know who it is, or you just want to use my voice talents, I mean, I'll do it for like a good meal that's $30 or more, or I'll do it for like a night at Motel 6 because I'm out on Monday. If you have something that would be worth $100 for me to say, of maybe like a half hour of me talking or an hour of me talking, utilizing the Wern's voice talents, you just let me know and I could do that. I could read a poem to your honey, or I could go tell your father-in-law to go fuck his boyfriend up the ass. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm not going to do anything strangely bigoted, like racist or homophobic, but like throw some money at me. You know, hook me up with the motel room, hook me up for like some food, and then I could kind of live my life of luxury. You know what I'm saying? You know, something that would cost like $100, some sort of like voice work that I could knock out in an hour would surely be worth, where you could on Monday get it so I could stay till Tuesday and just keep continuing to pay for my Motel 6 for doing voice work for you, any kind of thing, you just let me know and I'll take care of that for you, skis. I mean, listen, I've done the Golden USP podcast and I was hooked up with food from Gold Hours, a little bit of a wrestle to get a second meal out of the geek room, but here it is. They hooked me up with a nice pizza, not that chintzy shit. So if you want me on your podcast, here's the deal. I'll do it, but the first one is going to cost you a lot more. I want you to pay for exactly what the Geek Room paid. And what the Geek Room paid for the first podcast was a night at the Motel 6. And they also bought me a $25 meal at Denny's and had it delivered. I said, look, guys, you want to send me a Little Caesars? I'm not really down for that. A lot of the guests, they just came on to shit on me. Well, I don't really appreciate that. And those guests were told that they're never going to get to come on anymore because they just spent their time pooping in my mouth verbally. That's not really what the word about, okay? If you want me on your podcast, one, be respectful towards me, and two, pay me beforehand. If you want that podcast, that first podcast that you have me do, I'm going to have you pay me with a stay at the Motel 6 and at least a meal as good as this one here. If you want me to do a second podcast, I'll make it a little easier on you. And it would just be the meal itself. But like we get a couple of these Motel 6 days and meals before I get my Cash App set up with the new debit card. That's just as good to me as money, Eventually, I'm going to get a new debit card on that Cash App. I had that ordeal with PayPal last year. But I'm going to charge you like $50 an hour, which is basically what these guys paid anyway. They paid like $110 for that first hour and a half. Don't have me on your podcast if you're just going to kick me down a notch and call me names, because I'll call you names in return, bitch. But I think you get the gist of what I'm saying here. I mean, I've done 2 podcasts. I've done the Geek Room, kind of working with them a little bit now, and I helped Gold Hour. And Gold Hour, he was laid off because of COVID-19 in Canada. One's getting his government stipend of a UBI of $1,000 a month, or $1,400, I think it might be in Canada. But he was still paying me like 2 meals to do a podcast. Like he was a mall worker who was laid off for 6 months to work minimum wage at a candy store, Lindt chocolate in the mall in Toronto. Minimum wage. Like trying to go to school. But he paid handsomely. I got to hand him that. He paid handsomely. He might be insulting me now. But he paid handsomely. He paid like, he gave me a gallon of soda one day and like 2 burgers. So, I mean, if you can't do at least that for a podcast, go fuck yourself. I'm not here to do your podcast for you. I've done 2 already. If you really want the worm that bad, plank down. Pony up. The Geek Room. I thank you, Kings. This is the shit. I don't know about that chick that was on the show saying that she looked 18 when she was 30. She fucking didn't look 18 to me. She looked like she was 30. She's just full of herself. Billy, he was there, a big beard guy. He was a guest. He was talking about how, I'm a child. I'm immature for a 40-year-old, but he's telling me how his fiance constantly calls him a child. And then that chick was like, 18-year-olds are dumb. But then she accused me of generalizing, making generalized statements when she made a generalized statement. I'm not here to work with hypocrites. You know what I'm saying? You're some sort of like pearl-clutching Democrat. I'm not here to really work with you. I'm not really into Trump. I'm a left-wing. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just have the Wern on to shit in his face. You know what I'm saying? Don't just have me on to be a toilet for your mouth diarrhea. And pony up before the show. At least it's good. You know what I'm saying? I know you know what I'm saying. So we're going to do another podcast with the Geek Room on Monday. You have people on to insult me, I'm going to insult them back. I might get real coarse and drop some homophobic stuff. Call me a creep, I'm going to call you a homophobic slur. Or a bitch. But hey, you know, you had me on the podcast. And I was nice on that podcast. Just expect to have a video made of you in return if you're a little bitch towards me or a little asshole. That's what I do. I stand up for myself. This is some bomb-ass pizza. It's spicy. Have the goods. The word ain't no bitch. What the Geek Room and the Golden USB podcast has taught me is that people want the Wern on their podcasts. The Geek Room paid a night at Motel 6, a 2-star motel, but I like chilling here because it's cheap, and a meal. And I talked to the guy, and he said it was $110. I don't believe him for that first podcast. I cut the price down for the second one because I'm a nice guy. I can be a bit of an asshole, too, if you're an asshole to me. But like that whole podcast, the guests just insulted me the whole fucking time. The people that were actually with the podcasts, they were nice, but the guests were just dickheads. But what that's proven to me is they're willing to pay $110 for an hour and a half of the Wern on a podcast. Okay. Well, here's what you're going to do. If you want me on your podcast, I don't have my Cash App set up yet because I need to get a new debit card. In the meantime, if you want me on your podcast, you better do exactly or more what the Geek Room did. And that was $110 worth of commodity, motel stay, and a meal from Denny's for that first podcast, and a meal from one of those artisanal pizza places for the second one that I'm going to do on Monday. You've proven to me through these two podcasts that the Wern content on your podcast is worth to you $50 an hour. And I did 100 minutes for $110 basically. So you've proven to me that I'm worth at least $50 an hour to do your podcast. I want that in full before we do the podcast. You can pay in terms of food for right now. I'm going to switch to Cash App. But for now, a good meal and a night at the Motel 6 will get me to do a podcast with you, for sure. But then at least like a $30 to $50 meal for the second one. So when I get that Cash App, it's going to be $50 an hour if you want high-quality Wern content on your podcast, which would be like $100 for Gold Hour if he were to do it again, because, well, it's been proven to me that you want me that bad. Don't have me on just to insult me either. I'll insult you back, bitches. Oh, I could go even coarser than that. I know some real dirty words.
You're scaring the hell out of me, man. Everything that I do good, I try to do good.